Hey everyone, welcome back to the Taskade 101 series. Today, we're diving deeper into Taskade to explore the process of setting up projects and making the most of the different project views Taskade offers. If you're looking to organize your ideas into structured projects, this guide is tailored for you. By the end of this video, you'll know how to set up a project from scratch, leverage AI to create intelligent outlines, and choose the perfect view to visualize your work. With that said, let's get started. By the way, if you haven't checked out the first video, I dove into Taskade's main features and UI overview, so be sure to catch up on that to lay the groundwork for this software, especially if you have not heard of Taskade before. For now, let's start with learning what projects are in the context of Taskade. Taskade projects serve as a core structure within the application, providing a flexible and dynamic space for organizing your tasks, ideas, and notes while enabling collaborative work when needed. Each project acts like a versatile canvas where your plans are brought to life, whether you're tackling personal goals, team tasks, or broader organizational efforts. And yes, this all sounds very fancy, but does it actually help you plan and execute projects better? Well, let's keep exploring how to create projects and utilize its various views to determine if these Taskade projects actually help transform your ideas into organized, actionable projects. So as we learned in the first video of the Taskade series, when we first log into the tool, we are taken into our workspace. Inside of our workspace, we have access to the default home folder that you see up here, as well as any new folders that we have created. And within those folders, we have different modules like projects, AI agents, AI teams, etc. Something new that has changed from that video until now with a software update is the inclusion of these sidebar navigation icons that you see here. So before we would only see the folder name on the sidebar, and then once we go into a specific folder, we would use the tabs up here at the top to go into the different modules. Now you also see those tabs here on the sidebar so that you can go into them quickly. Not a huge update, but just something that can help you navigate the tool a lot better. So let's take a look at how to create a new project within Taskade. So to do that, we have 4 different options in order to create a project. We can either create a project from scratch, we can create a project by importing an existing media type file or document. We can create a project using the AI Studio, so have Taskade's AI help us create a project. And fourth, we can use one of the default templates that Taskade has available for us to create a project. So let's start with looking at how to create a project from scratch. Let's say I just want to create a brand new project with a blank canvas. Let's learn how to do that now. So to create a blank project, we have 3 ways to do so. We can either use the plus icon here next to the projects module of this specific folder. So right now, for example, I'm under the testing folder. I can click the plus icon here under projects or next to projects, and I can create a new blank project if needed. I can do the same thing here if I expand the agents folder. If I wanted to create a project in that folder, then I can simply click the plus icon here. But in this case, I want to do it in my testing folder. So I can use the plus icon here. I can also use the button in the middle here called Start from Scratch to create a new project. Or I have this Create New kind of drop-down menu that I can click, and I can select this Start Blank option. So 3 different ways to start a blank project in Taskade. Next, let's take a look at how to create a project by importing an existing file or using a link from a website to create a project based on the information on that website. And to do that, we have 2 options. We can either click the import button here, or again, we can go to Create New, drop-down menu, and select Import. Once I do that, a pop-up shows up on my screen, and I have different options here. As you can see, you can import different media file types. These are the file types that are supported with a maximum of 5 megabytes per file, and Taskade will basically digest the information in those documents and create a project with that information. We can also use a web page, a YouTube video, we can paste text directly or upload a markdown file. And if you use any of these tools or services below, you can click in one of these options, and Taskade will walk you through how you can import the information from those tools or services into Taskade to create a new project. But for now, let's take a look at this function by uploading a Markdown file. So I'm going to click here on Markdown. I'm going to click on Select File to Upload. I'm going to find a sample Markdown file that I have. I'm going to click Open. And I'm going to let Taskade digest the information and create a project for me. Okay, so once Taskade is done, as you can see here, it simply took the information contained in the Markdown file, but it kept the same formatting that I have in the file. You can see I have a few numbers or a list here, as well as some bullet lists and headers. It kept the same format and just simply created a brand new project for me. From here, of course, I can edit the information. I can start assigning due dates, assigning tasks, etc. We'll cover all the other blocks and block types that you can add to a specific project later in another video. But for now, just know that you can use files to create a project so you don't have to really input information again. Let's look at another example, but this time using a website. So I'm going to click on the import button again. I'm going to click on web page. I am going to paste a link for a help article on Taskade's website. So when I click import, Taskade should digest the information in that website and then create a project for us to work with the exact same information. Okay, once it's done scraping the website, you'll see here that it was able to retrieve the information that's currently contained in that help article, and it even contained the different links and kept the links here in our Taskade project. So if I actually click on one of the links, it'll open up here within Taskade, and I can go straight into that. So as you can see, it does have the ability to scrape a website and create a project using the same information. The last functionality within the import function that I want to take a look at is the summarize with AI. So let's click on the import option again. We'll get the pop-up to create a project. I'm going to click here on the summarize with AI tab. And this time I'm going to upload a PDF. So I have here a sample PDF on how to train or the basics of training a dog. I'm going to click open. And what it should do is Taskade should summarize this PDF and create a project just using the summary. So we'll see how that turns out. As you can see, it's doing the output right now. Okay, so I had to speed up that part of the video, but as you can see, it summarized the PDF. I think the PDF is about 20 to 25 pages long. I'm gonna click on create project, and now I have the summarized version of the PDF created as a Taskade project. And again, once the data is here, then of course I can modify it and do whatever I need to within the project itself. Next, let's take a look at using the AI Studio within Taskade to have AI help us create projects. So to create a project using AI, we can click on the Create with AI button here, or again, go to the Create New dropdown and select AI Project. Once we do that, the AI Studio opens up and we have different options here available. So let's go through these options fairly quickly. So not only can we enter our prompt, which I'll do in a second, to tell the AI agent what we want to create a project on, but we can also select the project view output that we need. Again, we'll cover those in just a minute. We can also select the output language of the project that we want to create. We can upload files that the AI can reference in order to create a project. And we can add links from websites, YouTube videos, articles, social media posts, etc. in order to create the project. We also have this toggle button here on the right side called Agent Mode. And basically what this does is it indicates Taskade to create an AI agent that's specifically trained with the knowledge in this project. So if you're not aware, you can create your own AI agents in Taskade and train them with specific knowledge to help you perform or create content based on that knowledge. And it can definitely help you automate a few tasks within the tool. I'll have a specific video on AI agents since they're probably one of the biggest functionalities included in Taskade. But for now, just know that agents can be created in Taskade and trained on the knowledge of the project. So if I were to leave that option on, then Taskade will create an AI agent that is going to be trained with the knowledge included in the new project that gets created. What's cool about it is if I update the information within that project, then the AI agent is automatically retrained with that new knowledge so that it is always up to date. But for now, let's leave it off and we'll cover AI agents later in another video. So let's enter our prompt so that we can tell our AI agent what we need the project to be created on. If needed, we can use the suggested prompts here at the bottom, but for now, let's just paste the text and the instruction to create an outline for a 6-month plan to grow on YouTube. I'm gonna click on send. Taskade AI will generate that outline. And once it's done, I can either ask it to add more detail, continue writing, make longer, or just create the project with the current information. Once I select that, the project is created, and now I have a project or a good baseline to work off of. So now that we got our baseline project created, again, you can come in here and start editing each task. As you can see, I've added a due date to some tasks. This one is lasting from the 14th to the 29th. Same thing for the other two tasks. I've added a comment to the first one. I've reacted with an emoji to the second one. And there are many more properties that you can add to each task here in your project. And I'll go over those in a different video. But yeah, just know that I've complemented our project with more information. We can now review the next feature in Taskade that I wanted to discuss, and those are project views. So project views are these options up here that Taskade provides for you to view the same information that we've already inputted into our project, just in different formats. And I find these views to be very helpful because they can either help you look at the information a different way. You know, some projects require you to organize or view data or the plan in a different format. While sometimes it can also help you spark creativity just to view things displayed differently. For example, if I am brainstorming or starting a new project, I like using the mind map view, which I do have available here, and I can see tasks in a mind map view format. But let's just go over each of these project views quickly so that you are familiar with what is available in Taskade. So let me hide the sidebar here on the left side by clicking on this button at the top, and we'll start with the list view, which happens to be also my default view. So the list view, it's very self-explanatory. It's kind of like a blank Word or Google Doc where you start creating headings, and each heading has then tasks or notes or paragraphs, etc. underneath. And you just kind of look at your data or project information in a document format. Next, this one project managers are really gonna like is the board view, or in my mind, the Kanban board view. This one splits your headings into boards. So usually you'll see something like not started in the first column, in progress in the second, and then completed in the third. And you can just drag and drop a task, you know, once it's in progress to the in progress section, and then once it's completed, you can throw it in the completed section. So a lot of people do like the board view. Just know that that is also available in Taskade. Next, you have the calendar view. If you recall, I added a few due dates to some tasks in our project, and you can see those in the calendar view. You can also browse by week or day if you have something due that day. Let's go to tomorrow. As you can see, I have a task that's done marked right now as all day in my calendar. Obviously, if I added specific times to these tasks, then I would see them down here with the time format. Very self-explanatory, and another cool view with the calendar. Next, we have the table view. This one splits your tasks into rows, each belonging to a heading. So the cool thing is you still have your headings here, which you can minimize or maximize, and each of your tasks is now a row. And then the properties for those tasks are displayed as columns. So as you can see here, we have agents, due date, assign, comment, reactions, etc. So I think I've reacted to a few tasks here in the first heading. So you can see here, this one has a due date and it also has a reaction. If I need to add a comment here for somebody to review, I can do so from here, exit out of that, and I'll see that there is a comment for that task. So next we have the mind map view, and I like using this view particularly when I'm brainstorming or just kind of creating the outline for a project. But you can also use it, as you can see, if you have already your project or plan completed. And what I like about this view is that, for example, if I take this adjust content strategy based on data task and I click here on this green arrow, I see that I have all these options to create a subtask or add more detail to this specific task with AI. I, of course, can do so manually as well. If I need to create a task that's followed by this one or under this one, then I can just click the Create New Task button. But let's say I want AI's help to create a subtask for this. As you can see, I simply have to click a button and it creates some subtasks for that task. And let's click Insert. And as you can see, they are now part of this task. So if I, sorry, that's a bit small. If I go ahead and minimize that, then I don't see anything, but I know that there are some subtasks created by AI for this specific task. Next, we have the organizational chart view, which is very similar to the mind map view, except you are now looking at the information from top to bottom, but similar concept. And last but not least, we have our Gantt chart, which I know a lot of project managers do like this view, and that is where you see each task here on the left side. Again, I do like the fact that they keep the headings in place and that you can minimize and maximize each heading. And you can see basically the dates of the calendar as columns, and you can see how many days each task is going to take. So for example, this defined target audience, I've scheduled that from like the 12th or 13th all the way to March 30th. So you'll see it here in the calendar as such. So those are the project views. Let's go back here to our default list view. And the last thing that I want to cover as far as projects in Taskade are some of the settings that we have here in our heading. So obviously I can change the title of the project if I need to. What I really like is that I can also select here an emoji, just something for me to identify the project a lot faster. I can set a due date for the overall project, which I really like. So let's say I am planning for this to take a few months. So I'm going to select such date. I can assign this project to a team member specifically, and I can create tags. Maybe, I like categorizing my projects by priority. So I have a low, medium, or high priority. I can create a new tag and categorize this project as such. And then if I click the automate button, it'll take me to the automatization option where you can create different workflows to automate your work within Taskade. I'll go over that again in a separate video, but just know that that is available to access from here. Then jumping over here on the right side, I can favorite or star this project. If I do that, once I go back to my testing folder, I'll see a star here underneath. And that also helps to quickly access a project by going into the start section on the main menu. And I see here that I have two projects start right now. One is in my testing folder and the other one is in my inbox folder. So that's what starting a project does. Let me go back to the testing folder. Let's go back to our project. And then we have here in the three dots, we can quickly complete all the tasks on a project. Maybe we missed a few tasks, but we know the project is done and completed. We can complete all the tasks here. We can fold or unfold the different headings. So you can see here, if I click on that, all the headings minimize, and I can sort our tasks by different categories. The last thing that I want to mention here in the project settings is that you do have a progress bar for each project. So as I am completing tasks in a project, you can see the progress bar starts filling up here at the top. And that's just kind of a cool little UI add-on for you. So there you have it. That is Taskade projects and projects views. I went through some of that information fairly quickly, so do leave a question down below if you need any clarification, and if I can provide it, I'll be happy to do so. And also let me know what you're using Taskade for. I'm always happy to learn more use cases for this tool, and I'll be happy to hear from you guys. Again, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe and like the video if you want to see more Taskade content, and I'll see you guys on the next one.